Chick Gavitt, owner and operator of Ichiban Studio in Wakefield. 30 years experience in the martial arts. I have a 7th degree black belt in Okinawan Shorin-ryu Karate. I'm a certified kickboxing instructor. I have degrees in history and secondary education from the University of Rhode Island. And I am a proud member of the Downtown Merchants Association in Wakefield.
How did you get started in the martial arts?
That's a long story. About 30 years ago, I decided to do martial arts because as a younger child, I was always bullied and picked on. I was the biggest kid in my elementary school, so I was a target. And so often I'd be walking home from school and the classic, people jumping out of the bushes and beating you up, that was me. And it came to a point one day where I couldn't take it anymore. And it was a martial arts school in my town, Westerly, or my hometown, and decided to take lessons. And once I started lessons, the bullying stopped. And it wasn't so much about being able to fight my way out of a situation. It was the confidence that martial arts gave me.
It's interesting that you say that. Talk about the student creed and why is that important?
You know, our student creed is 3 paragraphs long, and we recite it before every class. It's a reminder to ourselves about what we're learning is used for defensive purposes only and not to hurt anybody with it. Because what you do learn, you can actually do some real serious damage. And so we want to make sure that we're more than just kicking and punching. Otherwise, without a student career, without a philosophy, we're nothing more than scientific street fighting. And we want to be more than that. So it's something that we remind our students, we remind our instructors, we remind ourselves every day that what we do, why we do, there's a responsibility behind it.
What is the student creed?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I will develop myself in a positive manner and avoid anything that would reduce my mental growth and my physical health. I will develop self-discipline in order to bring out the best of myself and others. So I learn in class constructively and defensively to help myself and my fellow man and never to be abusive or offensive.
That's wonderful. I think everyone should have a student creed.
It's a good idea, actually. It is.
Have you ever run into any of those people who used to jump out of the bushes?
It's interesting. I remember their names, which I won't say on the radio, but I've never encountered them, though I heard they know that I know what I'm doing now. But it's interesting about being bullied, and bullying is such a big topic now in the news, being bullied. It's one of those things where you never really forget it. I mean, you're talking going back 35 years for me, and it's still, in my head. So when I'm dealt with a student who's confronted with the same sort of situation, I'm working with them and on how to confront this bully, obviously without fighting, because we don't advocate fighting. It's one of the last things we do ask them to do. Defending yourself is the last thing you actually have to do. There are other steps before that. And so I just have this kind of awareness about that. I'm very in tune with students who are dealing with that situation, having been there myself.
What are those initial steps that you suggest?
I think a big thing with bullying is that I think kids need to realize that they're not alone, that we all are bullied, have been bullied at one time in our life, even if we're the quarterback in a football team, or we're the head cheerleader, or we're the smartest kid in school. At one point or another, no matter how great you are at something, somebody along your life, along your timeline, has bullied you in some way or another. So you're not by yourself. And I think that brings a lot of empowerment to somebody when they realize, I'm not all by myself in this. Everybody's dealt with it. Then the other steps involved are making sure that your parents or guardians are aware of the situation, that your teachers are aware of the situations, that your friends know what's going on, so that there's strength in numbers on your end also. Often a bullying situation isn't about being the bully and the victim. Oftentimes it's also about the third party, the people that allow bullying to go on. And those are the type of people that you need to kind of pull onto your side and say, hey, can you help me with this situation? Can you be on my side the next time there's an argument? Can you help me walk away from this situation? And if you can empower people, students, youngsters with this type of skill, it actually helps them with a bullying situation.
Hearing you say that reminds me of the national It Gets Better campaign. Is that your message too?
It is, because it does get better. When you're in that world of whether it's elementary school or middle school or high school, you feel like this is it, it's everything. And not realizing there's a whole big world out there. And it does get better. And we all grow up and we all move on and we get jobs and education and things change. And those dynamics that you're stuck in this little fishbowl is going to change. And you're going to realize you can meet people just like you, have the same strengths, the same beliefs, and you'll realize that you're connected in a different way.
Who were your martial arts heroes growing up?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you know my age, 44. So I've been around a long time, and You know, growing up, it was Bruce Lee in the 70s, it was Chuck Norris in the 80s, and then like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal. Those are the people that you kind of, when you're into the martial arts, you look towards as role models or idols. They influence you to get into the martial arts, and you want to be just like them. But once you actually step into the martial arts, you realize the people who really are influential are your teachers, your senseis, those who have come before you. That's when you really realize this is real martial arts and not movie martial arts. Big difference.
When did you make the decision, this is what I want to do for a living? And I assume also having a feeling of wanting to help people the way you described you were helped.
You know, that's exactly what it was. When I was going to college, I had a part-time job working at a studio, a dojo, we call it, in Westerly. And I ended up becoming the manager of the dojo. And I really enjoyed my nighttime job. I went to school during the day and taught at night. And at the time, my goal was to become a police officer or FBI agent. Law enforcement was my background early on. But my students just really enjoyed the classes I was teaching, and also often would say to me, you know, you really should have your own thing, you should do your own. And so 20 years ago, I actually left the studio I was at on great terms and we moved 20 miles away here to Wakefield and opened my studio 20 years ago because I wanted to have that same experience that I have through my instructors. I want to carry down to other students. And it's been a great ride. I can't, you know, they say do what you love what you do. I have that job. And it's follow your passion.
When I was thinking about this week's show, I wanted to talk about motivation and fitness and wellness, especially with all the food during the holidays, all the pumpkin pie. Do you ever lose your motivation to exercise?
Honestly, maybe on a day basis here or there, I don't feel like working out, but on a long-term basis, never. I've constantly and consistently worked out for 30 years. It doesn't mean it's easy, you know, but there's some days where you go, oh, I don't want to go do this, you know, but having started in martial arts, you end up getting into the fitness field and fitness industry, and I became a personal trainer years ago because of my martial arts background and my kickboxing background. But it's one of those things that you have to always remind yourself, what is the end result? You know, if I don't work out today, does that lead into not working out for 2 days? Does that lead into not working out for a week, a month, 6 months? Before you know it, you're at square one again. You know, I think often when we're out of a routine, we feel so guilty about being out of that routine and feeling like somehow we've fallen behind, whether it be your friends or the people you see at the gym or in your kickboxing class. You just have to take that jump, that leap of faith. You know, you have to go back and remember what it felt like to be in shape or to be getting in shape. You know, the endorphins are pumping. Didn't you feel great? You know, maybe you bought some new clothes and you fit better in them. Or maybe you were, you know, doing some sort of weight training and you were up 5 or 10 pounds more than you were before in strength terms. You've got to go back and remember your victories. They're going to help carry you forward.
What do you love most about working out?
Working out personally, my favorite part is the combination of all the different types of exercises that there are together. I love combining martial arts with weight training, with cardiovascular training, with explosiveness or plyometrics. That to me is just the ultimate. You feel so empowered to be able to move your body in a way that other people have always said you shouldn't be able to do. What motivates me and my favorite part when working with clients or students is to see them achieve something they never could do before. That keeps me going.
What are some of the success stories that you've had as a teacher?
On the martial art end, there are thousands. I've literally taught thousands of students. I think what impresses me the most or is impressed upon me the most is the life lessons that people learn through training in the martial arts, whether it be karate or kickboxing. You know, they'll come to me 5 or 10 years later after they've gone off to college and got a job, and they'll come back and talk to me and say, you know, Chick, you know, I've learned so much from you. And it's funny to me because they came to class twice a week, but there are lessons they've learned, whether it be discipline or loyalty or simple things like being on time for a class. They carry on to their daily job. Giving back to the community, you know, things of those nature that they say they've learned through, you know, taking classes with me. I love that part. And then as far as some of the success stories in fitness, I've had clients who have gone down 40, 45 pounds, you know, who, you know, went from a size 12 to a size 4, who their blood pressure was lower, their cholesterol levels were lower. They were happy. There was pep in their step. You can't put a price on that. Those are the things that make my job so worthwhile.
When we watch shows like The Biggest Loser, people are incredibly unfit, and this is not medical advice. You should always, of course, seek a physician's advice before beginning an exercise routine. I'm just noting that they seem to push the contestants really hard, but then we hear that we should start off slow. What is your philosophy regarding pushing the limits or easing into exercise?
You know, I think the philosophy on fitness, because you're right, The Biggest Loser shows, what you see is they're going hardcore from the beginning, day one. And that show, they're working out 3 times a day, 2 hours a day to create this result and also create a television experience. It's not reality. As much as it's called reality TV, it really isn't. Am I a big believer in going slow? I am if you're extremely overweight. If you have severe medical issues, I think going slow is the way to go. But I do believe there's something about turning up the intensity a little bit when you start a routine, because what has been holding you back has been that same routine. Perhaps you fall into a rut of doing the same thing all the time, slow and steady. In this case, doesn't always win the race. Sometimes you have to turn up the heat a little bit. So maybe your intensity has to change in your workouts. Maybe your workouts are a little bit longer.
Music is huge for me in working out. Is music a big part of working out for you also?
It is. My background is also I'm a musician. I played drums since I was a little kid, and played drums at a band in high school. And I'm into everything that you can think of, from swing music to metal to hard rock to classical. I love it all. And I think music is a big part of fitness. I think it keeps you motivated and allows you to go that extra mile, whether it be in your run or the extra rep if you're lifting weights, or if you're kickboxing, the few extra kicks and punches. I think it's something that is dire to keep you going. Without it, I can't be in a quiet room when I'm working out.
What is your favorite music to work out to?
Personally, I'm a big fan of alternative or hard rock when I'm working out. So something like, one of my favorite bands is Creed, and my favorite song is Higher. It just inspires me to work and push harder.
What advice do you have for someone who wants to get started?
Yeah, I think if you have not worked out in many years, and we're not talking about a month or two layoff, but we're talking 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and your medical health has changed, your emotional health has changed. I think it's always important for us to see a doctor, get some advice there first. They may suggest a nutritionist to talk to, and then start off by going simply walking, doing some home-based exercises. And when you're feeling confident, then join a program or a gym that will take you to that next level. Often we need a coach to bring us to where we're supposed to be. We can't always do it by ourselves.
What do you say when people tell you that they don't have time to exercise?
It's like paying yourself first. It's like when you have a job and you pay yourself first, you put some money in the savings account. Your exercise is your savings account for your body. It's for your mind and for your soul. You need to spend some time, half hour, 45 minutes a day, and say, this is my time. And then as far as working out goes, not being in shape to work out, you have to start somewhere. I think it's important that through the holidays that we don't lose sight of long-term goals. It's great to go to that party and have the eggnog and have the desserts, the pie, the big dinners, maybe a few too many drinks at an office party. These things happen, we want to be able to celebrate the season. It's important to keep your eye on a prize, and that is that you want to be healthy, you want to be fit. And in order to do that, you need to keep working out. Watch what you're eating during the week. And if you have a party on a weekend, splurge, it's fine. But if you're good 5-6 days a week with your eating, and you're good 5-6 days a week with your exercising, you won't be thrown off track. It's when you say to yourself, well, it's the holidays and I'm not going to work out again until Super Bowl. I mean, that's a long ways away. And a lot of people do that. You need to make sure that eye on the prize.
Are you pretty careful about what you eat?
Yes, I try to be. I battle. It's funny. I've done this, like I said, for 30 years exercising, but I battle weight all the time. It's part of my genetics. And where some people can work out 2 or 3 hours a week and be completely thin and ripped, it takes me good 10 to 12 hours a week of exercise and to be able to do that. So I have to watch what I eat, and I'm pretty strict until the weekends come, and then I splurge a little bit, and then I know if I splurge too much, what I have to do the next week. I'm a big believer in eating 5 or 6 times a day, small meals, lean proteins. I'm a big believer in eating brown carbs such as sweet potatoes and oatmeal, and I'm a big believer in fruits and veggies, lots of water. And that's kind of my routine, kind of my program.
Well, I stopped into Jennifer's Chocolates down the street, and she told me your secret.
She did, about sugar in my tea. Did she tell you that secret? That's another one, yeah.
Is tea your favorite beverage over there?
It is tea. It's great tea she has over there. It's like this ginger tea. And she has another one that she just came out with, which I absolutely love. And I'll splurge a little bit of sugar in it. But again, by the end of the week, I can tell if I had too much sugar.
Actually, she told me that you're a dark chocolate fan.
Well, I am. That's my biggest secret. Yeah, don't tell anybody this. Is this on the radio? I am a dark chocolate fan, and so I have to be very careful. And it's one of those things like maybe once a month or so. I'm the same thing with pizza. Pizza is food of the gods to me. So it's one of those things, again, because of my genetic makeup, I have to be careful how I eat. I just can't say, well, I like it, so I'm going to eat it every day. You just can't live your life that way.
In all of the years that you've been doing this, what is the most inspiring story you can recall?
One that really stands out is she's no longer a student anymore. She's since, I guess you could say, retired, but we love her dearly. A woman, her name is Jean Andrews, and she won't mind me saying it on the radio. She came to me in her early 60s after her husband had died, and she was looking for something new to do in her life. And she started kickboxing classes, and she started doing martial art classes with me, and she became kind of my surrogate mom. And to see her grow and to develop a whole new social circle and to feel good about herself, over 15 years she was with me, to become a third-degree black belt in the martial arts at the age of 74. I mean, it was amazing to see that. That to me is one of the most impressive things that I've ever seen at the studio. The change, for somebody to come in at 60 and start something brand new and cast away all those doubts and all those fears, to me was just, that's inspirational to me. She inspires me every day. And we're great. We have such a great bond. Even though she's not still training with me right now, it's one of those things where we talk often. You know, we just love each other to death.
That's just amazing. So often we hear people say, I'm too old or too whatever. But when you see that, it really shows what a person can do when you put your mind to it.
Right. When you put your mind to it, you can do anything. And age should never be a factor. Ability should never be a factor. It is, we can do anything if we really want to do it. And you got to cast away all those doubts and all those naysayers in your life that tell you you can't do it. And you just got to kind of step out there and put yourself out there, and you'll be amazed what you can accomplish.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell people?
Well, what they may not know, Ann Marie, is that Ann Marie once worked for me many, many years ago. I think we're going back almost 20 years.
It's so funny that you say that. I was going to ask if there was anything people didn't know about you, and I didn't ask that question.
Yep, Ann Marie helped me with summer camps a very long time ago when we first opened Ichiban Karate and Kickbox. And a few years ago, she walked into our studio with her son for martial art lessons. And I said, God, she looks familiar. And sure enough, there's our connection.
It really seemed divinely inspired. As soon as I walked in the door to the studio here, I really knew this was a great place for motivation and for learning. It's really just got a very positive feel.
The vibe was there, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I'm honored by those words. Having your son here has been great. To see him develop and change has been amazing. I'll tell you, especially within this last year, he has really stepped it up. Yeah, I'm very proud of him.
Is there anything else you would like to tell people?
Well, there are a couple things. I also, as part of my role in downtown, is I'm also president of the Downtown Merchants Association. And we have a lot going on in downtown Wakefield, and we love to invite everybody to our events. And we've been doing some really great things. This Thursday night, I believe your show is airing then, is Ladies' Night from 5 to 9. So you can come on out, bring your girlfriends. It'll be a lot of fun. We have Santa Saturdays. Every Saturday, Santa's downtown Wakefield, saying hi to the kids and handing out lollipops and candy canes. And we have some really big changes coming in store for downtown Wakefield in 2012. We are going to be staging a farmer's market starting in April or May of this year, of 2012, which is going to be fantastic. And some great new things going on, some big things happening in downtown Wakefield, which I'm very proud of.
If you're interested in the Downtown Merchants You can check them out on the web at merchantsofwakefield.com.
Or you can check us out on Facebook, also, the Downtown Merchants Association.
And how can they find you?
You can find me at IchibanKarateStudio.com, or we're right here on Robinson Street in Wakefield, or you can call me anytime at 789-3380.
And you're on Facebook.
Ichiban Karate and Kickbox on Facebook, yes.
Chick Gavitt, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ann Marie.